to our 96th annual meeting of the Greater Rochester Chamber of Commerce. We're happy to have you all here and in this wonderful facility that we get to use each year. First of all, I'd like to thank our underwriter and sponsor. We have Eversource as our underwriter for the past several years, and we're definitely appreciative of your generosity that you provide to us each year for this event. And I'd like to introduce Brian Dickey, who's on our board of directors, and he is the Vice President of New Hampshire Electric System Operations for Eversource. Brian?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming to the annual meeting. We're proud. Eversource is very proud to underwrite this event. For the last many years, anyway, and very proud to support the city of Rochester and the chamber. I do want to thank Laura for putting this together. Laura and Kevin for putting this together, and the Frisbee Memorial Hospital for hosting the event today. As Vice President of Eversource, we're very proud to support the communities, and Eversource is very proud to support the Greater Rochester Chamber. One of the big news events that came out yesterday is the energy supply rate went from what was last year 20 cents, so 20 cents plus, down to 8.29 cents per kilowatt hour. Right, significant change. Right, there was a lot of volatility in the natural gas markets last year, and the market has adjusted, and hopefully that volatility will kind of go away here. In 2024, we're committed to modernizing the grid. We're going to be putting forth smart meters, the communication infrastructure to put make those smart meters work so you can manage your energy usage at home and make the grid that much more efficient. In 2023, we did support a lot of nonprofit organizations, about $150,000 we supplied to all the nonprofits across the state. A big component of that was in Stratford County, and we're going to continue to support those going forward. And then lastly, I just want to thank, again, the Rochester Chamber for putting this on, and I'll turn it back over to you, Lauren.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I'd also like to recognize our sponsor and our host for today's event, Frisbee Memorial Hospital, and we have a few words from the CEO, Tim Jones.
Just a couple minutes, if you don't mind.
Don't mind.
You indulge me for just a couple minutes. Thank you. It's great to have everybody here. I think this is a great tradition, and I'm sure it will continue well into the future. I did ask my catering team to come in, but they're not anywhere to be found right now. I wanted to have everyone thank them for such the great work they do. They're amazing. Our food service team is second to none, actually, and I'll share some information about that. If you guys don't mind, I want to just do real quick, it'll take me about 5 minutes or so. I'm going to bring you under the hood of how we operate within the facility a little bit, and the work that we've done over the last 2.5 years, and share some of that work with you. We don't do a lot of fancy stuff, so bear with me while I throw up. This is how we approach our town halls. We don't make it fancy. We like to keep it simple, and hopefully people understand where we are. So this is literally an example of how we approach a town hall in our building. And we have two types of town halls. We have a large town hall, much like this, where on average we'll get 50 to 70 people who will come into the cafeteria during midday. Usually we try and vary times. We'll walk them through, here's where we are. And then we also do micro town halls, which Megan and I, our CNO in the back, will go to a department, and it will be very specific to that department, and we'll share information that's relevant for that team. And we'll do that, the big town halls on a monthly basis, every month, micro town halls 2 or 3 a week, where we're engaging our teams on a regular basis. So this is really kind of the format. As you can see, it's simple, flip chart. We always start with a mission moment. I'd like to start with 2 mission moments that have stuck with me since I've been here. The first mission moment is about Mikey. Mikey works in our cafeteria. And this was shortly after I got here 2.5 years ago. Mikey comes from Somersworth. He delivers food to the patients. The patients love him. But Mikey doesn't drive, doesn't have a car, takes 2 buses to get here in the wintertime. In the good weather, he has one of those power bikes, so he rides his power bike. He was riding it early in the morning because he has to get here at a certain time, like 6 o'clock, and he got struck by a car. Destroyed the bike. Mikey was okay. Everybody was thankful for that. Within 2 weeks, the people in the hospital, the organization, raised enough money, just volunteering money, to buy Mikey a new bike. They gave Mike the bike. It took 3 months to get it because you have to order I guess they're very special. Had to order it, and they presented him with the bike. They helped him pick up the bike, get the bike, and get it back on the road. Simple example of what type of community we have within that hospital. It speaks volumes. The second one I will share with you is, as many of you know, we had a flood this past year on February 4th, so we're almost to that anniversary. Significant that it hit the surgical services ROR. It's the most important part of our organization in terms of, for many factors, not the least of which, financially it's incredibly important, right? A part of our business. And we need to serve those patients who need that care. The thing that's important about this is we did not lose one person. So for 4 months, the OR was closed. OR nurses are incredibly hard to find. Not only if you find them, it takes 1 to 2 years to train them. And then you put them in the most stressful environment possible. We did not lose one single team member from the OR over a 4-month period. Unheard of, because nurses can go anywhere and get a job tomorrow. Unheard of. That's the type of commitment we have in this organization. Those are the 2 mission moments that will stick with me throughout my time here. A couple quick updates. Strategy. We talk about strategy at every town hall. We talk about the 3 to 5 year window, which we're in about 2.5 years now. We discount the 2020 to 22 period because of COVID, and we didn't have a strategy. There was a lot of things going on. We were struggling. We're about 2.5 years in. Our strategy is very simple. Can we develop a Seacoast market strategy with our HCA partner at Portsmouth? 1, how are we doing that? Simple example. Our hospitalists, which are our doctors within the hospital, and our ED doctors are now rotating among the hospitals from a service perspective. It's a really powerful thing to do from a care perspective. Secondly, we want to create a corridor of care. Simple example of how we've done that. We will not be able to provide, as you've heard me say every time, we will not be able to provide all services for all people. What we want to do is build a corridor of care and bring services that we can provide here. The example of that is we have a specialty clinic that has a thoracic surgeon and a vascular surgeon that come here weekly. There are only 1,600 vascular surgeons in the country, and we're bringing one to this community. Now, procedures that can be done here will be done here. The second part of this is we have a system now. For many of you who don't know, the ambulance services, like many other services in healthcare, are totally stressed. They can't get people. Oh, by the way, there's our team. So please round of applause. We have an ambulance service now because we were having patients. It would be not uncommon for me to get a call at Friday or Megan at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Hey, we've got a patient we need to transfer from Portsmouth or from here to Portsmouth because they need heart procedure. Okay, call the ambulance service. Let's get them. We'd call whoever, right, outside of our company. Yeah, we'll pick them up on Monday. Not going to work. Not going to work for us. So because of the strength of HCA, we've been able to now create our own transport system. We have our, this is separate from our 911 service in the city. We have our own ambulance transport system. So we could go to Huggins and bring a patient here that needs the kind of care we can provide here. We can take a patient out of our emergency department within minutes and get them to where they need to for care. Corridor of care, that's what we're setting up. And then the last thing we talk about are the fundamentals. And this, you can see how worn and weathered this is. I have to use tape to stick it up. But we talk about executing the fundamentals. Like any championship team, that's what it ultimately comes down to. Can you execute the fundamentals flawlessly every time? Not when you want to, every single time. So we talk about three things. Safety and quality, patient satisfaction, and team engagement. If we do those three things, the money will follow, right? And as many of you know, how financially distressed this organization has been for more than a decade, right? And the focus in most of these turnarounds and where they miss it from my perspective, and I've done many of these now, is they focus on the money. And they miss the fundamentals. So we have that kind of conversation with our team several times a week, every month. So let's talk about where we are, just to give you an update. So physicians, which has been a challenge for every health system in the country. It's not that we don't want to get them, they're hard to get. You know, baby boomers like me are leaving. They're retiring. Physicians are doing the same thing. Let me give you an update for 2023, the progress we've made from a physician perspective. Does not mean we're all the way there. We added, what we did is we consolidated our primary care. So some of you who are in our primary care network may realize that we're no longer in Barrington, Farmington, outside Rochester. There's a very specific purpose and reason we did that. 65% of all the patients in all primary care, of all of our primary care locations, which were 6 locations, 65%, this includes White Mountain, 65% of the patients were from where? Rochester. Why are we sending people all over the place? So we developed a very robust strategy based on data and made those changes. 2 things outcome from that. We have a primary care practice here in the medical office building, 1, and our Rochester Hill location. We're seeing any and all patients that need to be seen. The volume is growing. 2 things came out of that. Patients are really satisfied. They're not traveling all over the place. Oh, and by the way, when you need a lab draw, you can do it right there. When you need an x-ray, you walk down the hallway. And the physicians are thrilled. In my 45-year career, I have never been able to say physicians are thrilled. Right? So really positive outcome. We have an ICC intensivist program. Our ICU is monitored 24/7 by our intensivist program at Portsmouth. Not unique to us. Many hospitals of our size are using tele-ICU services. It's phenomenal. They are the best intensivists around. You're just not going to get better people. And if we need to transport someone, guess what we do? We put them in our ambulance and we move them down south. We hired an ENT doctor. We hired an inpatient rehab physiatrist. These guys are like, you can't find them anywhere. But he's the doctor who leads our new inpatient rehab, which is unbelievable, serving an unbelievable population. We have our specialty clinics that I talked about. We hired 2 cardiologists. They start in July. And Chris Lawson is the cardiologist who's here every week. We will have full coverage for cardiology starting in July. That service is phenomenal, and I highly recommend Chris Lawson. He's my doctor. He's an amazing person. As you know, there were some things that we didn't want to do, like close OB and close oncology, but we had to do those things based upon demand. But we did provide Harbor Women's OB and gynecological services here. They're a private practice group. They're willing to come up here, and that practice is viable and growing. And it's a service that's needed in the community. We don't birth babies here, but they can take care of those babies, and they bring them to Portsmouth when they need to be birthed. So positive. We set up an ortho clinic in Rochester. Again, it was sort of like the primary care. It was all over the place, but not here when it needed to be here. Pulmonary call coverage, we now have 24/7 a day. Again, these are all rare people to get. We just, this past 2 days, brought on board from Portsmouth, who's coming up here to work on our ortho clinic, a neurosurgeon. So we'll have neurosurgery here at this hospital. Unbelievable, right? I mean, it's an amazing thing. And then we are now in the middle of recruiting for a total joint surgeon. Again, another one of these unicorns that are hard to get. Megan and I have interviewed 2 candidates. Both are very, very interested in coming to New Hampshire. They have a connection here, and they want to be on the seacoast. And so we're looking at potentially, we try and get both, but we're looking at a positive, at least getting one. We talk about outpatient or operational services. I won't go into a lot of detail. That's about leadership. We talk about what's happening in the building on a regular basis, and so people know what's going on. It's all about communicating on a regular basis and over-communicating it in multiple ways. Let me just share a couple of the accomplishments that we have in 2023. My purpose is so that you understand where this organization is. Many of you know where it was, and where we've come to now is really, we're on the precipice of like an amazing future here. It just is phenomenal. We had an OR flood in February, 0 turnover, as I mentioned. We built and installed in really less than 6 months an inpatient rehab unit. We had to open it by March 1st, or we would have to wait another year to do that. We got that done. We started that in October. We got it done by March 1. We've stood up a behavioral health partial hospital program. It's an outpatient program serving an unmet need in this community. We are serving 12 to 15 patients every single day. That's the max we can do right now until we can add more staff. And it's been so successful that we're looking at standing up another partial hospital program for behavioral health needs in the Guilford community. Because we are landing in the Guilford community now. We have an ortho clinic up there. We're going to add other services in Guilford. In meeting that need, we have a great community ambassador program. We currently have 19 leaders in this organization that donate and dedicate monthly time to the community in some way. 19 leaders, and it's more than 26 organizations that they're participating with on a regular basis. Frist Award winners for the first time in the history of this hospital since HCA has owned it. We had 3 Frist Award winners. It's a big deal. We had 3 people win awards this past year. Opened our ortho clinic, which I talked about. Nursing, we have a positive hire rate on nursing. Amazing. Our turnover rate in nursing is below 15%. The national average is probably around 20-25%. So stability. Student and volunteer program is amazing. It is unbelievable how we've rebuilt this with your help and others. We have 10 volunteers now. When I got here, there were none. How many at the student?
We have 9 interns this year.
9 interns from the high school. We have interns from UNH. We had a learning lab. What was the thing in Portsmouth? What did we call that? What was it?
The healthcare exploration.
The healthcare fair. 150 students attended the healthcare fair. It was hands-on, like they were touching body parts and getting all involved. So we're building for the future so that we have folks that are young people that can move into healthcare and create a career in healthcare, right? And here's the thing, HCA is incredibly invested in that. They are spending a tremendous amount of money to do that. Patient experience, let me talk about the last piece of this and then I'll end. 2 things, patient experience. We measure a lot of metrics in patient experience. There's 4 specific areas we look at: inpatient, outpatient test and treatment, surgical services, and what's the ED, yes. How could I forget the ED? For the 4th quarter, we were in the top. We had 2 of those areas in the top. We're number 1 in the division. Here's the thing I want to hammer home. When we got here 2.5 years ago, we were in the bottom in the division in every single one of the metrics I'm going to talk about. In every single metric. And in some of them, out of 180 hospitals, we were close to the bottom in 180 hospitals. So right now, patient experience, out of the 4 areas we're measuring, the lowest rank in the division is 4. We're 4th out of 19 hospitals. For the entire organization, in all of those areas, for example, cleanliness of this hospital, #1 in the division. #1. Food and nutrition, #1 in the division. #1. From a perspective of HCA for the quarter, we're in the top decile in every metric from a patient experience perspective. Top decile. We're in the lowest decile 2.5 years ago. This is all a reflection of the work that your people who live in this community are doing in this building. So you should be incredibly proud of this place. It's been very quietly done. They have a lot of humility. They're not going to share this stuff, but this is what's happening. So from a patient experience perspective, second to none. Team engagement. They met, by the way, HCA measures everything, right? So it's what it is, and we've gotten our team to understand it is what it is. But thankfully we have them, right? Team engagement, that's how engaged is your team. I was engaged in your team. Last year we were number 176 out of 180. So we were at bottom in the division, bottom in the group. The group is 60 hospitals. We had our survey in October, November, this past November. #1 in the division, #1 in the group. #1 in the division, #1 in the group. That's how engaged is your team in serving this community. Physician engagement, same thing. Largest improvement in HCA. Capital investment continues. It's well north of 120 million now. So we are getting things that other community hospitals can't get. We're getting we're going to redesign and rebuild the ED inside. We're not going to change the footprint. That's going to happen this year. Brand new state-of-the-art CT scanner is going to be dropped right in that ED. That's where we need it. We want to take care of stroke patients. And then lastly, two things, and then I want to talk a little bit about quality, and I'm done. Because that's the priority from our perspective. We should know today, we're in the middle of a survey right now. We just completed a Joint Commission survey. I will tell you, it was the best Joint Commission survey of HCA hospitals in our division this past year, the best. We had 0 findings in surgical services, unheard of. And I was telling Mike or someone, you know, they look at the ceiling grids, this is how much detail they go to, and they say, you know, those ceiling tiles, there's an 1/8 of an inch gap that's too wide. So they get inside of you in ways you can't imagine. 0 findings in surgical services. That, in my 45 years, I've never seen that. And secondly, and this is the most impressive, infection prevention. How safe is your organization? 0 findings. 0 in infection prevention. This is an incredibly safe organization. In fact, our complication rate is 80% below what is expected for an organization of our size and our capabilities. 80% below what is expected. Because in every organization, you expect there's going to be something happen. The human body doesn't always agree with everything we're going to do, right? So from a safety perspective, it's incredibly safe organization. We have a long way to go. We will continue to do that. We expect today, we're under another microscope this week. The DMV is here to survey us around primary stroke. We fully expect that we will become, as of today, a primary stroke center. It's phenomenal. That means stroke patients can get right to us. They don't have to drive by us anymore. They can get right to us. And then the last thing I'll leave you with is these things. Safety and quality. You've heard some of the things that we've done from a safety and quality perspective. Patient satisfaction. We're in the top decile now. And we will continue to improve that. And I continue to challenge the team. I want team engagement. This next survey coming up in May, my full expectation is they'll be #1 in HCA. #1 in HCA. You do these 3 things, add these 3 three things together and you generate financial performance. So I'm really happy to report to to the community. The fourth quarter of our fiscal year last year, which ended in December, we had a positive margin. Probably the first time in 10 years. Positive margin. That will be a little up and down. There will always be bumps in the roads, but we're on the right path. And it's driven by these three things. The last thing I would say is, it's very, very bittersweet. I will be retiring. My decision is based solely on my wife saying, I will kill you if you die before you retire. And that is a part of, I've had 3 surgeries and a heart procedure in the last 12 months. So physically, from a health perspective, I need to get myself in order. And I will, and I'm having great care. This is where I receive my care. I have great care, great providers, great team. I feel much better after my recent procedure, so I'm on the right path. I was going to retire in June. We've decided to roll that forward. Really, Gina decided to roll that forward to February 29th, so this will be my last month here. My message is, this is in an amazing place right now, and it will continue. The person who replaces me will not be a CEO, will be a COO. There's lots of reasons behind that. It will be the right person because I keep hammering that home with everybody as we interview people. We've interviewed 4 people. We're only inviting 1 person back that we think will be the right person both for the community and the organization and how they integrate themselves into both, because that is the most important part. So we're on the right path. I hope you feel comfortable with where the organization is. It is in an entirely different place, and the energy and the culture in that building is unbelievable. So thank you. It's been my honor to be here. It's been my honor to serve the community and the hospital, and I wish them all the best into the future. Thank you.
Great job, and it's a tremendous facility. I know personally too, I had a procedure done almost a couple of years ago now, and it was a wonderful experience. So great job that you've been doing for the past 2.5 years you've been here. So, yep. So congratulations on your upcoming retirement. Good for you. I said congratulations on your upcoming retirement. Okay, first of all, I just want to recognize a few people that are here in the room this morning that I'd like to recognize and thank them for being here. Executive Counselor Joe Kenny, I think I saw him. Oh, there he is. Thank you. Our Mayor, Paul Callahan. I don't see, is Dan Fitzpatrick here? I know he registered, but I don't see him. Our police commissioner, or one of our police commissioners, David Stevens. And of course, our economic development department, Mike Scaller and Jen Marsh. And my favorite public information officer, Matt Wyatt. Want to come up there? No? Okay. So first of all, I'd like to start with just thanking and recognizing our wonderful board of directors. I know Carrie will be introducing them to you a little bit later, but I get the wonderful experience to work with 20 wonderful and dedicated directors and officers each year who help this organization with many things. So during the course of the year, we meet every month and go over things that we want to talk about and to make sure that we're remaining a strong organization. I'm also thankful to the wonderful teammate that I get to work with. And normally I present her with something each year, and I apologize, Tanya, you know I'll make it up to you. But I've been under the weather, so I haven't been able to get out and get her anything, so that will be coming. So
I always feel appreciated.
I'm glad. So I want to thank Tanya. Tanya, please stand so everyone can see. All the time to learn more about the chamber industry. She's attending actually Institute for Organization Management, going into her 3rd year this year. She loves finding new ways to implement things, which is great. So it's nice to have new blood in the organization that wants to do that, and she's doing a fantastic job. She's always helpful to members, and it's certainly a pleasure to work with. So thank you to Tanya, our Director of Events and Communications. With that, all of this is only possible with the help of all of our members. We have a diverse membership. This just gives you a quick picture of the type of categories of businesses that we have within the organization. And we count on all of you to obviously, help us throughout the year. We want to help you in return and provide you with programs and benefits that are going to be worthwhile and help your business succeed. We always need to constantly evaluate and look at our strengths and weaknesses and opportunities that we have, and we try and seek out opportunities and resources that will strengthen our members and provide them with resources that they need to succeed. Having, and kind of what Tim was talking about earlier, having an involved and an engaged membership is crucial to the organization. So much more can be accomplished with the help of everyone, whether it's just helping out at an event, attending an event, having your company represented on a committee, taking advantage of various promotional opportunities, could be sponsorships, could be a raffle prize. Attending ribbon cuttings. This all gets your business recognized at any of those events. For 2023, just some highlights that I want to mention. Good news is the Chamber was, for the most part, financially successful for 2023. We did better than our numbers the previous year. We ended up looking at about a 91% retention rate for 2023. Not my favorite number, I want it higher. So we always have to work harder to be able to maintain our members and to grow the organization. So a few things that we do. We also, financially, that helped us out, and we're still waiting for the funds to come in, is we were able to take advantage of the employee retention credit that was available. So that's going to bring us in about $36,000. We put on a series of talent acquisition workshops. We worked in collaboration with our Economic Development Department and the SBA and presented a business resource to longevity workshop. I have a lot of fun working with Jen. So, and we had a panel of long-term businesses in Rochester that provided information to a lot of small businesses here in the area. We put on a couple of job fairs to help businesses find employees. A promotional opportunities guide to outline the various opportunities available to members throughout the year was developed. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya also worked on revamping our ambassador program. Our events were very successful throughout the year. See, getting involved can be fun. Look at Tatiana, she's having a blast.
Where's the picture of Dave?
Oh, Dave? Is Dave on that one? No, we'll get to that one.
Yeah.
Let me get to some of our committees. And our events provide members with business opportunities, community events that they can be involved with or their employees can be involved with, and where members can unite socially. We have a couple of very popular ones. Most of them are pretty popular. This was last year's annual meeting breakfast, our annual awards celebration where we name our business of the year, Nonprofit of the Year and Citizen of the Year, and we'll be talking about something new for this year. Our Chamber Raffle Bash, which was a hula and moolah themed event. Excuse me. Excuse me, last year, so I think that, yeah, there's David, see the guy jumping up all excited, that's Dave Richard.
And don't forget Matt in the hula skirt.
Oh, yeah, and Matt Bullier with Service Credit Union is such a good egg. We try and, you know, whatever theme we have, he ends up dressing up to it, so. He had a hula skirt on last year, and Tanya will talk a little bit later about what this year's event will be, as we just selected the theme for this year. Our golf tournament, also very popular, was very successful with about 140 players that we had last year. Our, as I mentioned earlier, our job fairs and community expo that we did helped to bring in some potential employees for businesses to meet and hire. And our holiday events, our tree lighting and holiday parade events. It was a fun year. For those of you that don't know, I've lived through, over the course of the years, having to reschedule the parade. Well, we had it this year to reschedule the tree lighting and the parade, and Tanya and I think spent that whole entire weekend at the office just trying to redo everything that we had already done and planned. So it is a great event. It's a lot of work, a lot of details, and we have great support from the city, so thank you to them for all their help in rearranging everything at the last minute this past December. And then we have some special events that we do throughout the year, whether it's the State of the City, the State of the State that we do with the Dover and Somersworth Chamber, or the Falls Chamber. And we also had our annual Operation Thank You, which is a great event where we get about 60 volunteers to go out and meet members and be able to shake their hand and say hello and provide them with the new member directory. Our Business After Hours that we hold during the year. This is a great event to be able to network with fellow chamber members, and it's also an opportunity for a business to be able to host and bring people to their business and talk to them about what they do. Also our ribbon cutting ceremonies that all members are always invited to attend. Again, it's another way to get your name out there and be part of the celebration and greet that new business that may have come to town. We have a number of different publications that we do, from our dining guide, our what's happening in Rochester guide, our directory, our map, which we're actually redoing now, so if you receive any phone calls from someone from Town Square Publications, that's who we're working with to produce the new map. The last one we did, I think, was 2018, so it's a little bit outdated. Our community guide, we'll be doing another one of those by the end of the year. Relocation packages. We have our information center when you come in the building. We have our legislative guide if you want to know who your legislators are. And then we also have a video on the website. All of these are available on our website. We'll be doing some member benefit briefs that are starting up this month. And, excuse me. So those are some of the events and such, that publications that we have. What needs work? Well, one, we need another employee to help us with membership and grow the organization. So that's number one. Our membership goal that we had for last year had not been met. Certainly if we had that other person, not that we did bad, but if we had that other person, it would have been better. And it's, you know, challenging. It's two of us in the office that are working full time, and it can become challenging trying to put everything together without that additional person to really make things more efficient. So what's going to be new in 2024? There's going to be, you know, a commitment, and the board's going to be having a strategic planning session this year, but certainly a commitment to strengthening our chamber. Kerry will be talking about an effort and that she's going to invite you to be part of shortly. The member benefit briefs, as I mentioned to you earlier. programs such as our Ambassadors Committee or program. This is where you can become a leader in the chamber and help foster a vibrant business community. It's an opportunity for you to go out there and meet some businesses, and it provides us the assistance with getting information on benefits, on satisfaction, out to our members. Funding Expo, again, partnering with our Economic Development Department and the SBA. On April 2nd, we'll be doing a program to help you connect with local lenders and learn how you can obtain funding, meet with business advisors from the region and the state. We're also looking into a program on AI and how you can use it to benefit your business. I know Tanya's already playing around with that and enjoying it, so we want to be able to put a program together for that. We want to work with our now Rochester Mental Health Alliance on mental health in the workplace initiatives. Excuse me. Our committees, we're revamping to have less meetings so that we take up less of your time and have you help us with the planning stage, and then the rest of the stuff we'll take care of and get the event ready. We're also looking at some promotional strategies to highlight our members each month. For instance, like right now it's tax season. It's, you know, you got winter snow plowing that's needed, so we're going to be trying to highlight businesses every month on what that particular season or month may present, so that we get more of our members out there and promoted as to what they do and what they offer. Our awards, we're expanding. We're going to be looking at, in addition to the Business of the Year, the Nonprofit of the Year, and the Citizen of the Year, we're also adding an Educator of the Year, so thank you for your help with that, Lauren. Our scholarship program, we're expanding to offer scholarships to those attending not just a college or university, but also a trade school. We have a trip to the British landscapes coming up this fall, going to Scotland, Wales, and England. If that's something you're interested in, I know there's brochures out front. And we'll be updating, as I mentioned earlier, our street map, continue to educate and invest in our staff, and continue to partner with our chambers here in the region on various programs. So I want to thank you. And next I'd like to introduce our treasurer, who's been our treasurer since 2018, Charlotte Rollins from First Seacoast Bank, to provide you with a financial report.
Good morning, everyone. First off, I wanted to start, numbers always tell a story, right? Laura talked about all the hard work this year. We started off the first of the year with a deficit budget, which is kind of a new thing for us, but in the end, we succeeded, and you'll see we have a positive, and it's a result of a lot of hard work from Laura and Tanya, so, and a lot of hard work from everybody in the room as well involved. So if we take a look at our assets, the statement of financial position of the year, total current assets, including cash, accounts receivable, prepaid expenses, for 2023 was $165,698 compared to last year $144,034. Property and equipment, total property and equipment for 2023 was $355,207, just a tad higher than last year. Net property and plant equipment totaling with depreciation $96,068. If you look at our total assets for certificates or designated, it's $164,858. And employee retention that Laura already mentioned of $33,856 was a nice bump for us too, leaving us for a total assets of $460,580 for 2023, quite a bit better than last year. Revenues, it's always about improving your revenues and squeezing your expenses and reducing your expenses, and I think they did a nice job this year with this. Although membership and dues were not quite where we wanted to be, we actually made up the ground in other areas. Total revenues for the year, which new to this line item this year was a miscellaneous rental income, which we had. We had a third story in the building that we're in. We were able to rent that throughout the year, and that helped us a lot. Interest as well helped us a lot. As we all know, rates are up, so that made a bit of a difference as well. But if you look at the program revenues, revenues for programs this year was $185,022 compared to last year of $163,573, which is a nice bump for us as well. Total revenues for the entire year for 2023 was $398,510, much improved over total revenues last year. Expenses, expenses were, we tightened up the squeeze a little bit, saved a little bit here and there. Total expenses overall, and we didn't have an additional staff member, which Laura had mentioned, which ultimately Laura and Tanya had to pick up the slack for, and I think they did a very nice job. So total expenses of $351,333 for the year, for a net assets of a net gain of $47,177 for the year, compared to last year, a deficit of $33,443. So overall, it was a successful year. We have some areas of opportunity, but in the grand scheme of things, we're doing okay. So ultimately, we want to thank all of you. We couldn't do this without you. Sincere appreciation from the board to our membership for the support in our community, and I also want to say thank you to Laura and Tanya for all the hard work. So, and that's it.
Thank you, Shala. I'm certainly going to miss you now that your term is over, so thank you very much for all your help over the past several years. Okay, next up, I'm delighted to introduce our chair of the board for this year. She looks a bit familiar because she was last year too. So let me tell you a little bit about Carrie. Just a little. Carrie's worked in the nonprofit healthcare sector for over 11 years. She's currently employed at Living Innovations that supports people of all ages and abilities to have a good life at home and in the community. Prior to that, she was employed at Cornerstone V&A and at a small local business where she received her introduction to the chamber while volunteering at golf tournaments. Carrie Landry's been serving on the board of directors since 2018. She is also involved on several committees, the annual banquet committee, golf tournament committee, and previously served on our governmental affairs council, and has volunteered to take part in other events as well. She's also a Rochester Rotarian and serves on the city's Riverwalk committee. Carrie takes her role at the chamber very seriously. She's committed to seeing her chamber succeed and does her part to make that happen. Carrie, like other chairs before her, found that it's difficult to accomplish much in 1 year. Just when you figure out what's expected of you, your year's ending. So when things changed at Dia Frechard Energy in the past year, and David needed some additional time, Carrie stepped up to carry the torch for another year. And we're very grateful to her for putting in this additional year. So please welcome now in her second year, Carrie Landry, our chair of the board.
Before I actually get started on I'm going to wrap together how we can accomplish and make it better, everything that Laura had told you about. I do want to, where did Tim said? I do want to thank and congratulate Tim. Did he? Oh, so my father was a frequent flyer at Northeast Rehab for quite a few years, and thanks to all the accomplishments of Frisbee and HCA here in the last 2.5 years, he then was able to migrate here to the inpatient rehab, and I got to tell you, it was phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. So take that. I know a lot of people don't like change. It's been hard, 2.5 years, but it really made a difference in my father's life, so just FYI. And I also, so yes, the past year has been an absolute whirlwind. Just when you think you're getting your feet wet, everything changes. The tree lighting changes, the parade, just everything changes. So I am thankful and I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve again for another year. I also want to acknowledge our past chairs. Now, it's more than just a list of chairmen of the board. These people dedicate their time They take time away from work, and that doesn't mean we do less work, that means we do more work at night, sang. But it's a true dedication, and they're to support you guys and Laura and Tanya because they're phenomenal. So with that, I want to acknowledge the past chairs that we have here, and we have Janet Oliver from Unitil, sorry. I had coffee instead of water. Bill Cormier, I saw him from Century 21. Bill, thank you. And just FYI, we will tell you, it's not really a joke, the new board members will know. It's kind of a lifelong commitment, people, so Bill will be back too. Mark Farrell from Lars, thank you, Mark. Alan Johnson from Breezeline. Al. And I guess there was no others in attendance who, so okay. And I got a couple of thank yous for those who are retiring. Those of us who have been around for a long time, this is kind of hard. These are your people that you've been around for a long time. I'm having a hard time separating from Charla. She's been, so I do want to thank the following people who have retired from the board this past year. Blaine Cox, who is our former city manager, served on our board from 2020. Blaine, you actually have to stand up. We still miss you.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Paul Gatehouse actually was here, just had to skip out for an appointment, and he apologizes, but we thank him. Al Johnson from Breezeline. Al Johnson has served from 2017 to 2023, and he also got to serve 2 years as a chair. So thanks very much, Al. Charlotte Rollins from First Seacoast Bank from 2017 to 2020. Thank you, Charlotte. Okay, so now I'm also going to present and thank our top ambassador. So gonna recognize this volunteer who goes above and beyond each year to assist the chamber with its membership retention efforts. Everything that we do is about our members and our membership and the retention of those members. So for those who are not familiar with the ambassador program, our ambassadors promote and enhance the benefits of the chamber membership. They serve as a liaison between the membership, the board of directors, and the staff to ensure that you're all satisfied. Primary objectives are to aid in the retention of you all and the involvement of existing members to raise awareness of the chamber benefits, to encourage participation in our programs and our committees through personal contact. You probably have seen Charla, not just through Operation Thank You, but out and around throughout the community. So ambassadors volunteer at events, they write articles for the chamber, and they help others get involved. So with that, we're delighted to recognize our outstanding ambassador for 2023 for her outstanding efforts. Once again, we're counting steps. Thank you. Okay. Now I just have a couple minutes of things I wanted to say. Again, it's really about how we can all do better to promote and bring together everything that Laura presented as chamber benefits. So a little topic here, we're a village. It's a village, right? I talk a lot about it at work. How the field staff can't perform without your internal intake department, or if you're manufacturing, your order department, okay? The intake in your order department can't do their work without the sales department or our community liaisons. And of course, my favorite, Nobody can do any of that without your back office finance, who bills and collects and actually makes sure that there's payroll for all those people doing all of that. Okay, so none of us, nobody at work, nobody in this community can survive without the other. It takes a team and it takes a village. Okay, this is our village. The chamber is just that. The chamber is the glue that holds this village together. Okay, it's not just about the real estate agents or the bankers. It's not just our business after hours or our awesome banquets. It's not just the city staff, unless you're Matt, because it is about Matt. And it isn't just Laura and Tanya and the holiday parade, okay? They work their butts off to make sure, but it's all of us. It's every single one of you in this room. It's us working together, side by side, with our ideas, our passions, our collaboration, and our sense of community, really. So those that say they don't have time, okay? I don't have time to be on a committee. I don't have time to go to the banquet. I don't have time for this. I'm gonna ask those people. Of course, that's none of you because you're here. But I wanna ask you, okay? Or you ask them, they don't have time. Who helped you get into the building you're in? Okay, was it economic development? Was it Kendall? Was it anybody, okay? Who helped introduce you to the peers that became your first customer around here? Okay, did you meet them at a business after hours? Okay, was it through the chamber? Did you use our membership guide, okay, to find that, okay? Who helped spread the word about your business? Who helped, whether you're a banker, real estate agent, all of us, manufacturing, okay? If you have no time, where would you be without any of those people who helped you, okay? That, you guys, all of you, my friends, okay? That is the Greater Rochester Chamber of Commerce. That's what the chamber does for the city of Rochester, and all of you, okay? We need you as much as you need us. I think it's really important. And I say this, those of you who really know me, okay, know that I'm not just talking out of my ass. This is something I truly believe. I do talk out of my ass a lot. This isn't one of them, okay? So, I believe this, okay? I've been told I drink the Kool-Aid. I am deeply embedded in my community, but it's true, okay? I want you all to get involved, take part, take ownership of this amazing community and strengthen our membership base, okay? We're going through some, not we, but the world, the community, whatnot. We're going through economic trials and tribulations right now, okay? So let's keep sticking together. Let's let everybody know. Let's increase that membership base. Let's get it so there's more people and businesses who can experience what you all do, being a part of this village, right? Because we are really a very small, tight-knit. One way we're hoping that we can do that is by continuing to work together and potentially a membership drive. Laura and Tanya came up with this great idea, okay? So not your boring table talk like we're gonna gather in the chamber or at the conference room, any of that. Okay, we want you guys to go out there, much like the ambassadors do, spread the word, tell your stories. How did you get your business growth? How did you get that customer? Tell your stories and what the chamber did for you. In return, okay, we're hoping we're gonna develop a menu of thank yous, whether it be gift cards to our local restaurants, free promotion, within the chamber newsletters and our monthly pop-ups. What are those called? The monthly thing we get?
The member news, the upcoming events.
That thing, it comes in our email and it's usually about the floor cleaning guy. But come on, everybody get involved. E-blast. Yeah, I've already done my floors. We're good. So let them know, okay? And then we'll offer you more of a thank you. Although you should be thanking us, but we will thank you. We're also thinking, well, speaking of letting us know what you're thinking, Laura mentioned that we're going to do a strategic planning session, okay? So we want to know what you all think. The board's going to get together and we're going to do this, but we need to hear from you. Tell us, what are your wants? What are your needs? Okay, how can we help you? What are some of the programs that Laura mentioned? What can we do differently? What can we do better? Okay, so seriously, we want to hear from you. We're going to continue, as Laura had mentioned in the past, letting you all know about what's happening in the state, local resources. The chamber staff continues to educate. I'm hoping to learn some AI from her, so that'll be good. But they keep up on the times. These are the things that we continue to do so that we can better serve you. And we're going to continue to get back into more in-person engagements, more business after hours, more of these meetings. Okay? So I do want to thank you all for your past support, and I'm going to thank you now in advance for your support for these coming years. Not just this next week, because this is fresh in your mind, but continuing throughout the years. I want to thank you all for your support. And remember, it takes a village, okay? It takes all of us. It really does. And that doesn't matter if you're at work, at home, or here in the community. It takes a village. So with that, I'm going to introduce our 2024 Board of Directors. All right. Is it going up on the thing?
It's gonna take me a minute. Get back there.
All right, I'll just keep talking.
Go ahead.
All right, so anyways, our officers for 2024, it's me, Carrie, second term chair of the board, chair-elect, partner in crime, David from DF Richard. Thank you. Vice chair of membership, Amy Brown from Yankee Electric. Vice chair of governmental affairs, Mark Farrell from Larry's. Okay. Vice Chair of Events and Fundraisers, Caitlin Turgeon from HBL. And our new treasurer, Tatiana Simon from Northeast Credit Union. And our immediate past chair, Janet Oliver from Unitil. Okay, so here's our slate for 2024. We have Brian Dickey from Eversource. And now we all know we have to go back and renew our contracts for electric, so thank you. Mary Henderson from Bank of New Hampshire. Again, lifetime member. Okay. Lauren Jair from Spalding High School. Tim Jones, although clearly we won't be fixing that, okay. So Joe Lasson from Hammond Lumber. Thank you, Joe. He's new to the community and new to the board of directors. So stand up, Joe, so everybody knows who you are. Sorry. Amy Law from Sig Sauer. You too, Amy. Also a very big part of the community, so we thank you and appreciate that. Kevin Miller is not here today. Kevin has served on the board for a while. Dr. Deepa Reddy. Kendall from Admiral Properties. David Stevens, and it's not Corhane, it's, I believe, Century 21.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cheryl Thompson from First Seacoast. Okay. Sky Tomasian. Okay, she's from Jolene Whitehead from Meredith Village. Yes. New to the board, but you all know her. Anyways, so, and Sue Wilson from Potters, who unfortunately of course, stand up again, sorry guys, because we can't do this without you, Laura and Tanya. They like red wine, by the way. Because when they say when Laura mentioned about the whole, literally, the entire weekend before the parade, and I'm sure you're all, I mean, these are the things that has to happen in a blink of a moment, okay? Is changing everything, calling everybody, working with the city, working with the police, working with all of you who had floats or dancers or horses or whatnot in it. It's a lot of work, and the board does as much as we can to support them, but again, you guys, it takes a village. Please don't forget, we need all of you. Spread the word. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Carrie.
Oh, sure.
And at this point, I'd like to welcome up Tanya Hervey, our Director of Events and Communications, to tell us about some upcoming events and do some raffles.
Fun stuff.
By the way, let me just, sorry, I'm never done talking. Okay, so when you do attend the business after hours and we have all these fancy raffles, we have a couple of gentlemen here in the room who will tell you that if you go to these business after hours and you win some of these raffles, these can be very nice gifts to take home to your wife. Okay, so bring your friends.
So before we pull the raffles, I just wanted to mention some upcoming events. On April 11th, we've got the Tri-Chamber Business After Hours with Breeze Line at the Rochester Opera House. So put these in your calendar. May 22nd is our annual awards celebration at the Oaks Grandview from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. And we just decided the theme, it's going to be Old World Elegance. And that's going to have a focus on England, where we've got the British Landscapes trip coming up. So we figured that was kind of a nice way to generate some excitement. On August 9th is the Chamber Raffle Bash at 6 p.m. at the Rochester Elks, and we have a super fun theme that's going to be 70s disco. So, yes, oh, I knew it. Everybody would love that. That should be really, really fun. Thanks, Caitlin, for that suggestion. So more information on these events will be coming available. Keep an eye out for our e-blast, newsletters, the website. We definitely keep you all well informed. So without further ado, let's do the raffles. We have a member promotional e-blast in 2024.
Tatiana Simon.
And then we have an enhanced website listing on the website for 1 year in 2024.
Mark Farrell.
And last, we have an 8th-page directory ad and website business card ad in 2024.
Kelly Verbicki from My Turn, new local nonprofit.
Congratulations. All right. I guess that's it.
All right.
Yeah, moving cool, there you go.
We want to thank our sponsors, Eversource and Frisbee, and also the food team for the wonderful breakfast. We want to thank all of you members for your support. As Carrie said, we're all in this together. Thank you, Imagination Photography and Video. And thank Unidine for the great food. And thank you all for attending. We're done.